and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World Daily with me, John Jordan. So today we're looking at Big Time. So Big Time's a game that is in development, obviously using blockchain, raised 20 million. It's got a really interesting team of experienced game developers, and also sort of helmed by Ari, who was one of the co-founders at Decentraland, so obviously one of the big sort of blockchain now, I guess, metaverses we call it. So there's quite a lot of interest around the game, what they've been doing. And they've been sort of raising stuff and selling NFTs and sort of raising the buzz. And obviously, buzz about blockchain games is pretty big at the moment. But now they've sort of announced their token economy. So Big Time seems to be interesting in the sense that it does have NFTs, but they are going to be aesthetic NFTs rather than sort of gameplay asset NFTs. So it seems to be, at least from what I understand, is it's not like you get you spend $100 and you get a better gun, that sort of NFT. So there'll be sort of exclusive scarcity, that sort of thing around sort of having cool items, like we have, I guess, skins in CS:GO. But there's no gameplay element to them. But they will have a in-game token, because that's kind of that's how you run an economy. So let's quickly sort of run through this. This is on their Medium, so they're quite active talking about this sort of various stuff. So they got this sort of space NFT, which they sort of talk about, which is how you expand your time machines. There's all this thing about, it's called Big Time. There's all this stuff about sort of time traveling, and that's sort of one of the big sort of design sort of concepts of it. So there's going to be a public sale for these space NFTs in December. But obviously its own sort of token is sort of a key thing to, as we've seen with Axie Infinity, having tokens sort of allows this economy to work and allows sort of speculation, all this sort of stuff. So it's a little bit complicated. I wouldn't say I 100% understand it, because it's not live yet. But let's go through the process. So you have to get this space NFT to begin with. Okay, so you can get that in game or you buy it in the marketplace. That's sort of the generally how these blockchain things work. So you need to have space, and then you need to place a timekeeper portal. So you need to get a timekeeper. So again, in game or buy one. So you have to basically have space. Space, I think, is basically like buying. I'm paraphrasing, buying a bigger rucksack, so you can store more stuff in a game. Then you buy the timekeeper. You put that portal in your space, and so now you may summon this mysterious being of power, incredible power. I think this is the way the time travel sort of stuff works. Then you have to acquire an hourglass in game from a guild or on the marketplace. So gathering tokens requires the use of a special in-game item known as an hourglass that can be acquired from the timekeeper, which is the portal sort of stuff. But you will have the option to buy an hourglass from the marketplace or borrow one. So you need to have the hourglass to go and hunt for tokens. Properly equipped players may now receive tokens as they battle dangerous enemies across history. Sands of time are not unlimited. However, players must periodically revisit the timekeeper to replenish the sands before they run out. Recharging your hourglass allows you to keep finding tokens. So it looks like there is so there's this other thing, sands. So sands, I guess, are not a token, but sands are some sort of resource. So you need to keep it's like gas in a car, isn't it? You need to keep filling up your hourglass with sand in order to collect the token. So tokens are going to be highly sought. This is sort of interesting that with Axie Infinity, you sort of play Axie Infinity and everyone wins sort of SLP tokens. So clearly, I don't think they've got the same level of universality, as far as I can see at the moment, for this sort of token, because you have to go through all these steps. I mean, I guess you could argue with Axie Infinity you need to have access to axes, but in this case you need space, you need a timekeeper, and you need an hourglass, and you need this sands of time thing. So there's a whole bunch of kind of stuff going on there, a whole kind of process. Tokens will be highly sought. It's going to be a fair launch, no initial offering or pre-sale. Interestingly, the token will be the only way to, this is the primary way to acquire tokens will be to play the game. So there may be other ways. I guess as soon as the token is live, presumably it will be on a marketplace somewhere that people can acquire it that way. This is all interesting. There have been several unfortunate incidents involving crypto projects recently. I don't know what that means. I guess it just means there's loads of scammers around. So they'll never solicit funds through direct messages. Any future sales will be announced publicly. And they're kind of saying, there's not going to be any pre-sale. So if people come to you and say, "Oh, have you got the big time pre-sales going? We can get you on the whitelist." That's going to be a fake. And it is interesting. I think having 100%, basically, the token distribution is a big thing. I think in blockchain, there's no right or wrong way, but clearly, if you're just basically putting the token out live in the game, that's probably a fairer way than than most other ways. Although there's obviously still big guilds may go and sort of be collecting it all up sort of quickly. So that we'll still see the sort of detail, but 100% sort of in the game sort of makes sense. And I think in blockchain games we do expect tokens to be there to be there for the community rather than primarily there for the community, I suppose. And if you're giving the community a lot of things, if you're giving them value in the game, then obviously you're going to build a bigger community. So it works out for the developers as well. So I'm still sort of interested in this. Let's have a look here. So we acquire space to expand our personal pocket universe. We unlock a timekeeper to sit in our space. We pay the timekeeper to craft and recharge my hourglass, and then I find tokens. Then I use tokens to buy rare and exclusive NFTs as well as recharge my hourglass. So this is sort of circular. The one thing, this seems to be fairly complicated, and I think I like complexity because I like blockchain, but complexity can also be, there can be a sort of a big gate for people. It's not, we see with Axie Infinity that complexity of setting up, a Ronin wallet is not that complicated for people, or even though it's fairly complicated. So I don't think complexity in and of itself is an issue. I do sort of, obviously they thought these things out. These are different economies. There's different sort of NFT pricing around these sort of things. There's different, scarcity around space, around a timekeeper, around an hourglass, around this sort of sand material. So I mean, there's a much deeper design doc, I suppose, about how this works. But it is interesting compared to Axie Infinity. You buy Axies, you play the game and you win tokens. You do have energy. I mean, that is totally fair. There is an energy sort of lock on this system. So it is interesting that again they have this sort of system, this sand system, where they don't want people just to go out and be able to just sort of grind out tokens forever and ever, because obviously that becomes a sort of a big issue in terms of token supply. So I can see why they've got that gating in there. But the other sort of stuff, buying 2 NFTs and then the thing to kick it off. Be interesting to see how it works. And I think what's been interesting about Big Time is they've played their cards pretty close to their chest. I wouldn't say I followed it particularly closely, but they've kept the information sort of back until they've got something up and running, which I think is the way to do it. To be honest, I kind of as long as all the information comes out, but I kind of think you have to sort of educate your community in what you're doing. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So anyway, I'll certainly keep an eye on what they're doing. They're doing something I think a little bit different to some of the other sort of blockchain games out there. So that's sort of good to see that variation, and we will see who's the most popular, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World Daily. Please keep it here to keep up to date with what's going on in the blockchain gaming universe. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.